Director Ferguson, hold on. She's going to dial in. You got to make that eye contact.
For real this time. Okay, the meeting of the Committee on Family and Community Engagement of the Board of School Directors will now come to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Director Fonz.
Present.
Director Reza.
Present.
Director Seamson.
Present.
Director Vinoy.
Present.
And Chair Ferguson.
Present.
That's 5 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The Chair will now ask the Secretary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Chair invites any members of the audience who wish to participate to do so and asks that those who do not wish to participate please remain silent during the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic from which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. This meeting is being conducted from the Central Services Building and may be accessed via the MPS YouTube stream. Broadcast links and links to this evening's agenda items and attachments may be accessed online on the upcoming meetings page of the MPS website. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a short announcement regarding interpretation services for the Spanish-speaking members of our audience.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la Junta Escolar de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si deseas escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor llame al número 312-626-6799. Otra vez el número es 312-626-6799. Introduzca al número de reunión 608-130-5362. Nuevamente, el número de reunión es 608-130-5362. Gracias.
Gracias. For each item of our business, we will hold a discussion and public hearing. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker slip and bring it to our Secretary, Dr. Owen Moore. We have no virtual speakers registered, and for the sake of fairness tonight and to give everyone a chance to speak, the Chair reserves the right to limit the time allowed for any one speaker. Disruptive or disrespectful behavior will not be permitted. If it occurs, the meeting may be paused and those involved may be asked to step out so we can continue in a safe and productive manner. Thank you for helping us to ensure a positive experience for everyone. Now, given that our focus this year is literacy, we have some help with our messages from one of our young readers. Kingsley is a 7th grader at Cooper School.
Welcome to tonight's committee meeting. The committee will accept public comments on tonight's agenda items. Speakers may only address the item for which they have registered. Questions from the public may not be answered during the public comment period. Following public comment, the committee will begin its discussion, and no additional comments will be accepted. When you are called upon to speak, please state your name and spell your last name for the record. Like this: Tanya Jacobs, Jacobs. Written testimony will also be accepted for transmittal to the board. Send this testimony to the Office of Board Governance, P.O. Box 2181, Milwaukee, Wisconsin 53201, 2181, or email it to governance@milwaukeek12wisconsin.us. Just as a reminder, Robert's Rules of Order dictates that all comments, questions, or requests should be directed to the chair, who will determine the most efficient way to address them. Also, no one other than members of the board, designated staff, or those who have been invited to present or participate in items of business will be allowed on stage before, during, or after meetings of the board and its committees.
Thank you, Kingsley. Great job. Thank you for being our reader tonight. If you have a child that you would like to read for the board meeting, please send a message to governance@milwaukee.k12.wi.us. Now, let's begin. Madam Secretary, what is item 1?
Mr. Chair, item 1 is report on Milwaukee Public Schools Department of Recreation and Community Services. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Thank you. Would the administration please present the item?
Chair Ferguson and members of the committee, Brenda Castelia, Superintendent. The Milwaukee Public Schools Department of Recreation and Community Services, commonly known as MKE-REC, has served the community since its establishment in 1911, providing recreational and educational opportunities that enrich the lives of youth, teens, adults, and seniors across our city. For more than a century, the department has evolved into a leading provider of community-based recreation services, offering diverse programming that promotes wellness, learning, and connection. Supported by a dedicated team of approximately 109 full-time employees and nearly 1,600 part-time staff hired annually as instructors, leaders, field attendants, umpires, and referees, Milwaukee Rec delivers programming in more than 100 schools and community locations each year. Key areas of service include before and after school programs, citywide recreation programs, youth sports, interscholastic athletics and academics, playgrounds and community centers, and operational supports. During the fall-winter 25-26 season, Milwaukee Rec continued this long-standing mission by offering multifaceted programs that serve residents of all ages throughout Milwaukee. To highlight and present these wonderful services, I'm joined by Chief Brian Litzy and Ann Kubis, Senior Director, who I will now turn it over to lead us in the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Caselius. Chair Ferguson, members of the board, Brian Litzy, Chief Families, Communities, and Partnerships. Today, I'm very, very happy to present Ms. Annie Kubis, our new Senior Director of Recreation since December. She's doing some really great things, very proud of her, and is a lifelong Milwaukee resident and a true advocate of our students, families, and the entire community of Milwaukee. I'm proud to say that she's been with the recreation for almost, a long time, came back. She's not that old, I'm sorry, but yeah, we're very proud to have Annie and just great leadership. She's doing great things already. And with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Annie Kubis.
Thank you. Chair Ferguson, am I?
Yep, there you go.
There we go. Chair Ferguson, members of the committee, I'm really excited to be here tonight to provide some updates about Milwaukee Recreation and the programming that is taking place now and things that we're looking forward to. Annie Kubis, Senior Director of the Rec Department. I should have probably said that first, but here we are. Okay, so first update is about the Milwaukee Recreation Community Center. We are so excited about the progress happening. It's at the old Browning site. We are doing the construction on the facility as well as the update to the Browning playfield kind of in conjunction. So we are at a place where demolition is complete and the foundations are mostly complete with concrete block walls starting. We're really excited about the preservation of part of the Browning building, which will provide some great programming space, and then in addition to the addition that's being built on as well. We're looking forward to having a lot to offer for the community, a great track, wonderful gym facility, weight training equipment, a great pool, and then office spaces for Milwaukee Recreation staff. So this kind of gives you an overview of the basic footprint of both the facility as well as the playfield. The beautiful part about that site is that there's so much green space for us to use. So in addition to the indoor space, we have a splash pad going in and a pump track and a walking space and lots of other amenities, playground. And we're just really hoping that it is a connector for the community at large, but specifically in that general area. You want to go to the next one? This is a quick video, a drone footage of sort of what's happening now. So the most recent drone footage that we have of the construction. It's very, very much a construction site, but it just shows you the pretty significant footprint and specifically where it's located on 76th and Silver Spring. And we'll have the same footage for every month of construction. So at the end, we'll be able to put together a kind of a comprehensive video to show from start to finish. All right. In addition to the MRCC, in terms of existing projects that we're working on, specifically with our design and development team, we have deferred maintenance. So this just indicates that we're working on our high priority maintenance pieces. We've got building projects, sports field improvement projects, field house/ADA, deferred maintenance renovations, and then we are continuing on with our Dream Build Play projects, which is our equity-based model for updating and upgrading our 52 playfields across the city. Go to the next one. So this just outlines in a little bit more detail, I suppose, our current projects. This includes the deferred maintenance projects that we are working on, and all of these items here are either in progress or are slated to begin. So we're working on timelines for all of these things. So this includes building projects. So the MRCC is the big one. We are going to do a ribbon cutting, the completion of the Green Bay Field House will be this spring. More to come on ribbon cuttings. Playfield construction, so Browning is obviously there. Metcalf Playfield, we're very excited for that one. Cass. And the Burnham parking lot, which is very exciting. That is a space that we use all the time, and that parking lot was in great need of some upgrade. Design and community engagement, all of our field house or our playfield projects include community engagement. So our team does a really nice job of involving the community directly around surrounding those particular sites so that they can truly create a space that is something the community will use. So Holt and Ohio playfields are both slated to start in 2027, 53rd Street also 2027, as well as Lowell. And then we've got some deferred maintenance projects happening as well, some playgrounds, tennis courts, basketball, and then we've got an HVAC project at our Oasis Center on 24th and Mitchell. And then just to wrap up with our facilities piece, we've got a couple of studies coming, feasibility studies that really help us ensure that prior to investing any money into either facilities or projects that we're using dollars with fidelity. So we've got our ball field study coming up, Beulah Brinton Community Center study that will look to see about the viability of including a pool there or expanding the footprint there. Oasis Senior Center is another one, and then the potential of figuring out a maintenance facility or at least kind of combining all of our maintenance folks into one space. All right, we'll move on to before and after school programs. We're really excited. COVID caused great challenge for many of our sites, and so while participation numbers and number of programs kind of ebb and flow, we're really on a good trajectory here, and we're up to 95 camps, CLCs, and safe places total, which is really great because it took a while to get there, but our team has really worked hard to support schools. Where schools lost CLC funding, they've really worked to create a safe place. So really trying to bolster the programs and ensure that our kids have and families have what they need before and after school. And for summer, we are looking forward to 70 total sites for 2026, which is up 5 from last year. And we'll continue to help support schools that are interested in having before and after school programs in any way that we can. We know how important that is for all of our families. Okay, we'll move into Milwaukee City Conference. Many are aware that there was an appeal process. There was a proposal to move Rufus King and Reagan into the Southeast Conference for all sports except football. Our team did a really great job of making the case and appealing that, and so we had a successful appeal. So there's one more vote. There was one today, and there's another final vote in April, but we're really excited about the fact that it looks like our Milwaukee City Conference will be able to stay intact, at least for the foreseeable future. We had double state champions. The Rufus King Cheer and Stunt team won 2 Wisconsin Association of Cheer and Pom Coaches championships. which means that they have earned 6 championships in the last 4 years. And they just did a demonstration for our elementary and middle school cheer showcase over the weekend, and it was really, everybody loved it. It was such a nice way to kind of show our kids what's possible after elementary and middle school. And then our winter championships, we're just finishing up our winter season. Girls basketball, Golda and Vincent won their divisions. Boys basketball, Juneau, Golda, and Bayview won their divisions. Rufus King won boys swim. And then for wrestling was Rufus King for both girls and boys. And then we also had one wrestler that went to state and took 4th in the state. And she was the only one from Milwaukee to make it to state. So we're very proud of her. Okay, some general recreation updates. Road to 15, we are happy to report that we have completed the jump to $15 an hour as our minimum wage for all of our part-time staff. That was effective January 4th. That has impacted almost 1,700 part-time staff. Our average hourly increase was $1.97, and our current average wage is $18.72. So that was a really big undertaking, but we're happy to be in this space, and we'll continue to work to ensure that that is kind of where we stay moving forward. We had our 21st annual Daddy-Daughter Dance on February 28th. This is absolutely one of the most incredible events. We had record attendance at 1,100 young women and their fathers and father figures. The outfits were coordinated, the joy radiated. It was just the most amazing representation of our community, and everyone was so excited and proud to be there. This was our 2nd year at the Baird Center, and with the Baird and 7 other sponsors, both monetary and in kind, we had donations of over $60,000, which is why we were able to do it there, but we're so grateful to be able to use that space. It's such a nice touch for all of our families. For skiing and snowboarding club, this is kind of associated with our esports, growing our esports within the department, but we have had this great partnership with SOS Outreach, and we had 38 middle and high school students registered for our skiing and snowboarding club, which was like an 80% increase from last year. So they went 5 Sundays in a row. This partnership, it costs each of our students $30 for the entire season. They got lift tickets, all of the equipment needed, snowsuits, mittens, helmets, goggles, a meal every time, transportation. And I have a couple of videos that I can send another time for you to look, but it's just so fun to see our kids branching out, doing something different, experiencing something that they wouldn't probably have access to otherwise. Skiing isn't something that we do right in the city, so that was really great, and we're looking forward to continuing that partnership. And then we have an urban agroforestry grant that is $15,000 provided by the Michael Fields Agricultural Institute, and that is to provide Hawthorne Glen with the ability to be a demonstration site for the benefits of integrating trees and shrubs into agricultural and community landscapes. So there will be fruit and nut trees happening there, and some other, programming opportunities for the community. Hawthorne Glen is one of our favorite spaces, and it's just such an amazing opportunity for people to gather, but also to learn about agriculture and the environment as a whole. So we are very excited about that as well. And one final thing that was not on here, but I just want to mention is this past weekend, we had both our middle school citywide volleyball tournament and our cheer showcase held at North Division. Between Friday night and Sunday, we had over 2,200 tickets sold for spectators. We had 40 teams participate in volleyball, and it felt like a club volleyball tournament in the beautifully renovated North Division field house. It was really amazing, with amazing skill in volleyball. Congratulations to Story. They were the big winners. And then we had 14 cheerleading teams that came and did, showcase their talent as well. We probably could have tripled that for the amount of interest that we had. So it was just a really exciting, as we talk about family and community engagement, that was a lot of engagement at one space, and it was really uplifting and fun to see. So thank you for the opportunity to share with you. I'm happy to answer any questions and invite any of you at any time to join recreation at any of our locations where we love to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that update. Madam Secretary, do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item?
We do. I believe you have a couple of speaker slips there.
I do. Okay. So the first speaker is Anita Garrett. If you can come up and...
Hi, my name is Anita Garrett. It is spelled A-N-I-T-A. My last name is spelled Garrett, like in G-A-R-R-E-T-T. I must admit, I usually come to these school board meetings with a lot of negativity, but I had the opportunity for Food Right, the Good School Food Project, to come to her event. And I say the parent turnout was nothing more than amazing. I was so amazed that we can get parent involvement, and the parents were truly engaged. Also, they were also engaged with me talking about healthy eating too. So I think we need to put that on the agenda, put more vendors out there at these events, mental health issues, healthy schools, because the parents were coming to my table asking questions and engagement. That's another way of us getting parents to start coming to face meetings, school board meetings. So I have to get your card because I need to get connected. I appreciate the fact, my 2 minutes, I appreciate the fact that I was engaged with Mr. Brown, Mr. Goodwin. They opened me with open arms and let me do my tabling event and let me connect with parents. And this is what I'm out here for, parent involvement. Dr. Brenda Casellas, I feel that you're doing a marvelous job. As far as the breakfast and lunch program, I know that's another thing, but like you told me to be patient, change is coming. So with that being said, I still got a minute. Okay, if I still got a minute. Well, Director Ferguson, I thank God for Dr. Ferguson coming to the light to know more about the Good School Food parent and advocate class, and he's going to be coming to there to talk to our new parent advocates that you will be seeing coming to school board meetings, asking you guys questions, getting to know our directors, and navigating the website. So this program is nothing more than amazing, and I thank God that we have directors on this board that is willing to come out in this safe space for us and answer our questions. How amazing is that? I think when a lot of the parents from other things said they were afraid to come to school board meeting, they were afraid to come and speak at a school board meeting with you guys up there and we out here looking by. But with this new class that we got now, we're ready. Thank you. I only got a minute left, and I did the 2 minutes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Garrett. Our next speaker is Linda Reed.
Right. 2 minutes.
Oh, hi. My name is Linda Reed, Linda-Reed. This is my first time, but I had a good teacher. I said, go ahead and do it. I'm here because we don't have a swimming pool, like a YMCA swimming pool. I don't know. I know we have them in schools, but we had one located on Teutonia in North Avenue. I am a gold medal swimmer, 3 gold medals, and that pool was used a lot with, I don't know, I don't know the terminology anymore for behavior students. They would come in, I would teach them how to swim. That pool was used for trauma in our community. I had people from Washington, D.C., women, Black women from Washington, D.C., and Chicago come in, and we did therapy in the pool. I am a victim of a home invasion, no fault of my own. I was mad. I have not been mad since. Those were Milwaukee Public School kids that came into my house. and disturb my peace. But I went to the pool on North Avenue. I didn't know how to swim. It was amazing what happened to me. I haven't really actually been angry since, but we need a pool, or I don't know how you guys can do it, but if you will consider water exercise, the kids were there all day. When they would see me in the pool on Saturday morning, the parents would say, "He like you?" They come running in, and I taught them how to swim. And I will say this, that African Americans we suffer from drowning more than anybody. So we need that water if you can. If you can, I appreciate it. Mother, anything else? So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. The superintendent is lovely. We met before, and she is charming. Don't worry about it. She got this.
Okay,
Right?
right.
Is that right to say?
you
Thank you,
so
everybody.
much,
I
Miss
appreciate it.
Linda.
Hopefully, I'll see you again. Oh, stop it. I'm fabulous.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. We have one final speaker, Miss, is it Laylee McLaughlin?
I'm holding it for item 1.
For item 1 on Sassy, okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Fons?
Yeah, I'd just like to make 2 points. One about the daddy-daughter dance. I think that is really one of the special events that we have in the district. And it sells out every year very quickly. So if you're interested, make sure you get in early to sign up for that, because it really, we've had that happen in our family a couple times where we didn't buy our tickets early on. So make sure you get in early on that. And then the second thing I was thinking of is we live in Wisconsin, and it's really good to get out during the winter. I'm a hockey player. Superintendent Casilius is a hockey player. Getting out on the rink is, I mean, we spend a lot of time at the Pettit Center. We have an outdoor rink. The rinks will be used if we set them up. They're expensive, but they get a lot of use, and it would be a real positive for Milwaukee Rec and Milwaukee Public Schools if we can offer not just hockey, but any kind of skating and any kind of winter activities, because it's a long winter and we get kind of sad during the winter, and getting out there is really helpful. So I know that's kind of spitballing, but maybe something we could sit down and talk about. And there's a lot of money out there for ice rinks. There's a lot of interest in the corporate community and private community for that kind of sporting. So I think it would be a real asset to MPS and Milwaukee Rec.
Okay, administration, would you like to respond to Director Fons?
Sure, we'll tag team this one. Director Ferguson, Director Fons, Brian Litzy. So funny thing is that we had a portable ice rink about, how many years ago was that now?
Opened in 2017.
Yeah, 2017, where we had it over at Burnham Playfield. The bad thing or sad thing is that, yes, we do live in Wisconsin, so we get some really weird weather. So a month into it, we had soup on the rink. And then we had some days where it was so cold that we couldn't even let people on the rink. So we experienced that for like 3 or 4 years, and we just had to kind of give it up. If you don't put the coils underneath there, it's a really hard endeavor. And some of you, I'm not a native Milwaukeean, but when I first got here, people told me that they froze the play fields, right? They would freeze them, and kids would go out there.
The county did.
So it's a thing, I don't know, we'll try, but definitely we have a lot of interest in ice hockey and things like that. The coils are the issues now if we try to do an outdoor rink, and we would love to have some opportunities for grants or anything like that, where we have some space that we can maybe do that at. And I'll let Annie talk about like our vast amount of winter activities that people can get into as well.
Sure. Is this on?
Yep.
Thank you. Hawthorne Glen is one of our primary locations. So we do tobogganing, we do cross-country skiing, we do winter hikes. So that we do try to get people out as much as possible. But I think to your point, it is fun to be able to introduce additional activities that aren't necessarily as common. So definitely something that we should connect on, because I'd like to explore that.
Director Fons, would you like to have any follow-up?
I've had a similar experience with the portable rinks. I ran a tournament for a while, and in the last, because of climate change, we've had real issues with maintaining the ice. We didn't have coils or anything like that, so it made it even more. And then when the ice melts, there's issues of vandalism and things like that, so it's been hard to, but I'd be more than willing to donate my rink that I have if you want it, because it's a lot of work, you know, and that's the other thing. It's a real commitment of time.
Okay. Director Singson, I saw your hand.
Yeah, thank you. No, I just wanted to thank you for the work that you're doing. This is such a critical value to our community. Everything that you talked about, you know, I can think of either families or myself personally that we've benefited from. You know, the child care before and after school, you know, Hawthorne Glen, all of the rec programs, you know, it's so important to get our kids out and playing. You know, we know that that is just a critical piece that, for a variety of reasons, not all of our kids experience. Maybe they feel uncomfortable in their neighborhood, or their families are so busy. So to provide these opportunities and safe spaces for them to be is really, really important. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I am so sorry. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Wick Field was jam-packed on Sunday and yesterday after school, like absolutely jam-packed. So it just, you know, seeing all those families out there playing and having fun together. So this is just such an important contribution to our city, and just thank you so much for the work that goes into it.
Thank you.
Administration?
I'm just incredibly grateful, Director Ferguson and members, for your focus on recreation and your support of our programming for the community. It is just such a community benefit. I remember when I interviewed for the position of superintendent, and then I found out that you all had oversight of the Parks and Recs program, and I'm like, that's just the cherry on the top. You know, so really excited. And of course, Director Fons, you know, with my hockey passion and being a Minnesota girl, I'm constantly in Brian Litzy's ear about having a hockey team. I want to get a little mini-mite team going. So really excited about our rec programs and all the great offerings that they do. There's no place I go across Milwaukee where people don't talk so fondly about our MK rec programming.
Okay. Matt Chason?
Thank you, Chair Ferguson. Matt Chason, OIE. For the benefit of the new board members and the public at large, it was in 2001 that Milwaukee Recreation received accreditation through the Commission for Accreditation of Parks and Recreation Agencies. It's a recognition of an agency's excellence in operations and services. It was the first school board governed recreation program to receive that accreditation. At the time, it was only the second agency in the state of Wisconsin to receive it. So I think it was a modest presentation that they provided this evening, that they didn't share that, so I just wanted to remind everyone of that point. And additionally, with there being really 3 agencies locally involved in parks and recreations, city, county, and then us as well. Can you describe how we coordinate with the other agencies to make sure that we're making sure that we have an equitable distribution for the community that we serve?
Sure. Director
Administration.
sorry. I'll get there. Director Ferguson, members of the committee, yes, we try to be as coordinated as possible. So we meet quarterly with both the county parks and city of Milwaukee. And I think especially more recently, as we all have limited resources, are really trying to be strategic in where we are putting those dollars. So kind of coordinating geographically, if we're doing a play field and they have a park that's up for renovation, just thinking like, we probably don't need to do both at the same time. So definitely, and have open lines of communication, and it really is a partnership versus a competition. So we're really grateful for that.
Dr. Casillas?
Chair Ferguson, members, I just had one more thing. As you all know, I created the Family and Community Engagement Office and put REC underneath that so that the programs would be aligned, and they also do partnerships and oversee the foundation. I think that having this alignment is better going to serve our communities and our families, and I'm just really excited. And I identified Mr. Litzy for the leadership of that role. I was interviewing him for REC and asked him, why is it you get this sustained excellence all the time? What is it that you do that people remark about your programs? And he said, because we believe in customer service. We know that our community is the people we serve, and we're business. And I said, well, we are too as a school district. And when we placed him in the role, he started talking about some of his ideas and his vision for engagement, very similar to the kind of things that they do in REC. And just recently, you may have noticed that there are community service surveys all around the central office, and you can go on and do a QR, I think it's a QR code, isn't it? And you can fill out a survey on how we're doing and how we're serving. This is a direct relationship to Mr. Litzy's service and the kind of service that the Milwaukee Rec programs elicit from their customers so that they can just be excellent. So really excited to see that they're bringing that to the Family and Community Engagement Office as well.
Likewise. Matt, do you have any follow-up questions? Okay. All right, Director Ressa?
Just a comment that I'm just so excited with all these updates, and thank you so much for providing this information, especially for our community, to see all the improvement, all the building projects, play construction, and all this design. So I'm just so excited about it. So thank you so much.
Okay, you do? Okay. All right, administration, you want to? Okay. Okay.
Sure.
All right, Director Vanoy.
All right, thanks. I also want to thank you. I think it's an amazing program. I grew up using Milwaukee Rec, and so did my kids. I have a question about the Green Initiative playgrounds. Do you guys coordinate with those as well? Okay.
Administration?
Director Ferguson, members of the committee, yes. So we have our equity plan related to which priority, how we prioritize our play fields. But for example, 53rd next year is going to be a part of the green schools, so we bumped them up. Same thing with CAS this year. So yeah, we definitely look to make sure that we're working in conjunction.
Director Vanoy, no follow-up? Okay. I'm going to pass the gavel. Okay. All right, can I go? Okay. All right, so first of all, I too want to echo what the other members of our board have said. Milwaukee Rec continues to be a staple in the city. One of the best parts of our district, I think, is what you guys do. I have a couple questions. The first one is regarding the MKE Community Center. What are you envisioning this community center doing? And can you give us a little bit of historical context about where you're bringing the property from, what it was prior to what it's going to be now? And when is your ribbon cutting for there?
Administration?
Director Ferguson, members of the committee. So the Milwaukee Recreation Community Center is in the same location that Browning School was historically. And our team has worked really hard to maintain some of the historical aspects of the Browning building. So we've had special, consultations come in to make sure that we're doing that appropriately, and the historical designation piece is intact. And so we are sort of recreation has always been known, or Milwaukee, the city of the lighted schoolhouse. And so I think that I really love that idea as it relates to this community center in particular, because we've taken a building that was no longer in use and we have repurposed it. We only have 2 other standalone community centers right now. So it's the Oasis Senior Center on 24th and Mitchell and Beulah Brinton. Otherwise, we're in MPS schools, which is a wonderful partnership. But what having a standalone recreation center allows us to do is really be a hub, a gathering space where we can be open 7 days a week from, very early in the morning for early morning swimmers and basketball players till late in the evening. And so I think that our hope is just really to be that gathering space, a place where people find connection, where they can, manage and really engage in wellness-based activities. I think so much of the needs of our community are based in the areas of wellness and, providing that connection and, being able to address mental health, concerns via exercise and engagement with the community. Also an opportunity for families to engage where if your child is in a swimming lesson or a basketball class, there's a track above the gym that parents can walk, or be in the weight training facility, there will be a child watch as well. I think ultimately we're just looking to increase our footprint and increase the possibilities for overall community engagement and recreation.
Dr. Ferguson, any follow-up?
Yeah, and the ribbon cutting?
So we are on track, Director Ferguson, members of the committee, we are on track to be done with construction in April of 2027. So you will hear all about a very exciting ribbon cutting. We are very, very thrilled to open this to the public. So we'll definitely make sure that that's spread wide.
Chair Ferguson, Board, I want to echo something that this center really is going to change that neighborhood, right? If you think about the neighborhood and you think about one thing that we really targeted when we started thinking about this center was our senior population. Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity for our senior population to have somewhere to go early in the morning to wellness activities or just to be somewhere, right? We hopefully plan to have meals there as well. So we want to try to, again, encompass our mission of serving the whole city, right? Neighborhood by neighborhood. So that's one of the things we thought about when we, Lynn Greb, everybody knows Lynn, we thought about this, was like, we don't have a lot for our seniors in that neighborhood, right? Like, so this is that opportunity to really brand it, and it's not, let's say, a senior center, but it will be a gathering place for them. It has a bus line. Oh, sure. Sure, definitely. Sure. Oh, North, we have so I'll finish with that, but it'll be a great senior hub for our families and our older adults. And we talked about swimming, the young lady talked about swimming, and I'm glad she brought that up. As you know, I think we're the leader in swim in Milwaukee, right? Like there's not many YMCAs. The Boys and Girls Club is not really in that business. So when you talk about swim, most people have swam with Milwaukee Recreation. My kids swam there, and probably anybody else's kids here have swam. So one of the things we've done lately is we're pretty soon, I did talk to Mr. Mike Terza, I think the pool in Obama will be filled here probably at the end of the month or sometime in April. So that gives us another opportunity to have pool activities within the city. And then what we've done, and many of you know Mr. Traces Wright, who's a staunch advocate of the North Division community. We're trying to pilot a senior swim program at North Division, right? Like there's some technicalities with having people inside the building when school is in, but we're working that out, right? He's doing a walking club, so we're really doing a lot of things around that area for bringing more individuals into a beautiful North Division building and pool, right? So tell everybody, like, we are open for swim. We've always been open for swim, and we'll continue to be the leaders in swim in Milwaukee.
Any follow-up, Director Ferguson?
Yes. My real question is, as a committee, we desire to get more into the community. We want to be closer to the community that we serve, And do you have a place in the community center where we can convene FACE meetings?
Director Ferguson, members of the committee, yes. We will have lots of enrichment spaces, multi-purpose spaces, so we can absolutely work with you on finding space. And also, at any point that you want to engage with the community at our events, please feel free to join us. We've got our citywide, March of Champions basketball tournament this weekend at multiple locations. I can provide you with that information. But again, the engagement piece, we find that recreation, and truly like youth sports is such a convener and a community builder. And that's really where many of our school communities are rooted in, is parents that are meeting each other in the stands and on the sidelines versus like at conferences, right? And so I think it's a great place to interact with members of the community because so many people have really been so engaged in the activities of their student, their young people.
Yes, just a few more. So I guess my clock is ticking, right? My next question is, in your presentation, you mentioned a maintenance facility and a recreation field, like for field sports. Are you saying that you have more facilities needs to facilitate this part of your vision?
Director Ferguson, yes. So I think we have, right now we're using space at the 39th Street building, 39th and St. Paul. There's definitely some deferred maintenance there. There's deferred maintenance also at our Delaware facility in the Bayview area. So we're just looking at feasibility and trying to decide, do we, kind of combine where all of our things are located, all of our maintenance vehicles, our, plows and all of our, everything for maintaining our ball fields, or if we invest the money to upgrade those facilities and not even upgrade to make them shiny, but really just truly the deferred maintenance piece.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then finally, everybody loves the daddy-daughter dance. Everybody does. It's always a major thing here in the city. Do you guys have anything similar for fathers and sons? And I ask that question because our young men in the district really need help and attention. And as long as I'm on the board, I'm going to always advocate for them and try to draw attention to their plight and what they need. So how has Milwaukee Rec specifically leaned into the largest constituency in Milwaukee Public Schools, which are the young men?
Sure, Director Ferguson. We too are right there with you. We do not have any special events currently that are for young men and father figures. However, we do have our Twilight program and our late night leagues, which are intended for young people. Twilight can be middle or high school, depending on the location, I think down to 10 years old. And then our midnight or late night leagues now go until 29 years old. And so there's also opportunities to engage in job opportunities, skill building things, networking at those locations. However, if there is a desire for an event that is specific to young men and father figures, that's certainly something that we can talk about. We have our Mother-Son Superhero Night in November. We also have our Family Day of Play in May, along with our Daddy-Daughter Dance, trying to cover our bases with engaging, families that are comprised differently. But, that may not be meeting every need. So certainly open to having the conversation.
Great. I hope you will, because I think that that would be something very beneficial for the young men in our district. And we need to help create opportunities for positive engagement between fathers and sons. I'll take the gavel back. If no other committee members have questions or comments, Madam Secretary, would you please call our next item?
Mr. Chair, item 2 is report on community partnerships and the Faith Leaders Breakfast. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Thank you very much. Would the administration please present the item?
Chair Ferguson and members of the committee, Brenda Cassellius, Superintendent. On February 7, 2026, more than 80 leaders from across Milwaukee gathered for an inaugural community partnership faith-based breakfast hosted in connection with Milwaukee Public Schools. The convening brought together representatives from community organizations, nonprofit partners, faith leaders, and state and local officials to discuss how community institutions can work collectively to support our students, families, and staff. The meeting strengthened relationships and opened new lines of communication with community partners. As a result, several organizations have been added to the district's regular community newsletter distribution to ensure continued engagement and information sharing. The district intends to continue building on this momentum through our annual partnership breakfast and an additional convening later this year to further align community efforts in support of students and families. With that, I will now turn it over to Chief Brian Litzy to present on the update.
Thank you, Dr. Cassellius. Chair Ferguson, members of the committee, before I start, I just want to say a couple of things, or thank yous. First of all, I would like to say thank you to OBG, Dr. Tina Owen Moore, Nita and her team who helped put this together, and Jill as well. I'd like to say thank you to Christy Stone as well, put in a lot of time. Thank you to Director Ferguson and the staff at the venue who were very kind to us and made sure that day ran very well. So first of all, I would like to say thank you for that. So what did we hear at this breakfast? It was a great day. I'm not sure, some people in this room were there, and we had a great turnout, great time. What we heard was leaders have many meaningful ways to contribute to student success. Potential areas of support include mentoring students and volunteer support, supporting attendance and student engagement initiatives, organizing school supplies and resource drives, providing family support and community outreach, partnering with schools and youth programs and activities. And what we are all looking for is impact. Together, leaders can expand the network of support and available to every student in Milwaukee. Some of the key takeaways we had from that great day. Leaders shared a strong interest in partnering with schools to support students and families. And one thing I did while I was kind of putting this together is I looked and I kind of Googled, there are over 1,000 places of worship just in Milwaukee, right? So one of the things we really want to do is focus on that. And I kind of mentioned it during that day is that our doors are open. We have 139, 140 schools within the district, so there is a place of worship with people who go there very near to our schools, and we want them to know that they can come and help in any form or fashion. So we really want this to be school-led, with our principals and our leaders and our teachers welcoming people of the faith community that probably have churches or synagogues or mosques right in those neighborhoods. So that's one thing I thought that was really key, and I hope individuals came away with that message as well. Leaders expressed a desire to mentor and guide students, support families, and strengthen home-school connections, mobilize volunteers and community resources, build stronger relationships between schools and neighborhoods. There was a shared message that day. Milwaukee leaders, faith community, local, and state leaders are ready to work alongside our schools to support our students and families and our staff. One thing we heard a lot of is that our staff need support too, right? They need that help. They need that smiling face. They need that extra connection at their schools. So we don't want to forget about those key individuals. Moving forward, what are we looking forward to here? We're looking forward to strengthening the community partnerships with our faith members. Leaders express interest in continuing that engagement and identifying ways to support schools and families and the staff at our schools. Potential next steps include follow-up engagement session before the 26-27 start of the school year, connecting leaders with schools. Once again, we really want to make that connection with the schools. Our schools, again, that smiling face, that individual waiting after school to tell those kids, have a great day, or making sure they get home safe with safe pathways. So those are all the things we're looking forward to our leaders helping with. Exploring volunteer and mentorship opportunities, participating in another community partnership breakfast in the year 2027. We're looking forward to that. And as you know, that planning will begin, and we're looking for help. So everybody I named, hopefully they'll help again this year. Our closing message, again, is student success grows through a collective effort of schools, families, and community leaders working together. We're all in this together. At the end of the day, these are all our children, and everybody has a stake in our future. So I think that if nothing else came out of that breakfast, I think we all had that common goal of let's make our children and our schools and our families successful.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, do we have any speakers on this item?
We do not.
Okay. Do any committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? No. Okay, I'll pass the gavel again. I'll ask. So, good to go? All right. So, first of all, I want to thank you guys. I enjoyed the opportunity to partner with Superintendent Caselius and the administration to sponsor the very first one that we've done in the district, where we brought faith leaders together with the administration, and members of the board were also there. So it was a beautiful symphony, it felt like, of support in the room, and it was very, very, very apparent that there's a lot of goodwill for the district among faith leaders and organizations and ministries. They're standing at attention, and they're ready to connect and partner with us. I've been getting a ton of inquiries about what are the next steps. What's going to happen next? The breakfast was great. A lot of momentum was created. Where do we go next? What do we do next? And so I'm happy to see some of the potential next steps here. And I'm excited to partner for 2027 on making it even bigger than it was this year. So, Brian, I look forward to working with you on some follow-up engagement. You know, when the momentum is there, you kind of want to ride it and go with it so that next year we're not starting all the way over from scratch again. There's a lot of goodwill there, and I think we can leverage that for a district that has a lot of needs. One thing that I want to ask, there was one organization there that's a part of a ministry called New Life. And New Life is currently one of our partners. And at the event, they were telling me about all of the things that they're doing in our schools. I'd like to know more about what they're doing and other partners like that. So I'd like to have you guys kind of survey our partnerships, and perhaps at our next meeting, as a follow-up for me, bring us, I'd like to survey the current and existing faith-based partners that the district is engaged with currently. So do I need to make a motion for that, or?
No, we got it.
Administration?
Okay,
We got it. I mean,
What?
you could, but we have it.
we got it, okay, perfect. All right, I'll take the gavel back. So thank you, great job. And if there's no other comments or questions, okay, Director Simpson.
I just have a quick ask. If we could just have a list, I don't know if we ever got a list of who all attend, not individuals, but groups or organizations that attended. I don't know if we ever got a list.
I don't think so.
If we did, I'm sorry that I've lost it in the clutter
No, I don't
of
know if there
life.
was a list that was generated, but we can see if we can gather something.
Yeah, just, I'd like to
Yeah.
see who was, which,
What's present?
yeah, who was, yes, what
I think
churches were
that
represented.
should be relatively easy to get
Yeah, I would
from
think
the
so.
registration.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Chair Ferguson, members of the committee, I think, yeah, that's a easy get for her, and I think we can work with the team. And again, one thing I want to say, thank you to Mary Urbina. I don't want to forget anybody. She did excellent work as well. With that, Chair Ferguson, we can look to see, we'll work with Christy Stone and her team to see if we have a list of, we're working on some new software to start to inventory our partners and things like that. So we'll try to see if we can decipher who our faith-based partners are, and we'll bring that list to the next FACE meeting. Or we'll get it to you, whichever one works out better.
Thank you.
You're
very
welcome.
much. Director Singson, anything more? Okay. All right, if there are no other questions or comments on this item, Madam Secretary, what is the next item?
Mr. Chair, item 3 is update on the MPS enrollment marketing plan. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Okay, thank you. Would the administration please present the item?
Okay, thank you. Chair Ferguson and members of the committee, Brenda Caselli, Superintendent, I'm excited this evening to talk with you about the district's enrollment marketing strategy. It's already showing promising results, with kindergarten applications up 22% and high school applications up 15% from last year. Early success reflects a coordinated approach that includes targeted digital, social, and traditional advertising, a new website with conversion monitoring, video storytelling, and earned media coverage highlighting district programs. Looking ahead, the district is advancing strategies to engage families earlier and support transitions from early childhood through high school as part of the year-round campaign to strengthen awareness, trust, and enrollment. I will now turn it over to Chief Tony Taylor-Villa to present further details. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Caselius, Chair Ferguson, members of the committee. Tony Tagliavia, Chief Communications Officer for Milwaukee Public Schools, and pleased to be with you and share a little bit about our work in partnership with Brian Litzy in the Office of Family and Community Engagement. And as the superintendent said, we have some really encouraging early numbers of our focused partnership together, and I'll ask Brian to share a little bit about that first.
Thank you, Dr. Caselius. Thank you, Tony. Chair Ferguson, members of the committee, I think we're super excited. I think this partnership with Tony has been, and his team has been awesome. One of the things when we first kind of collaborated, we wanted to develop a comprehensive enrollment plan and not kind of operate on a helter-skelter sort of basis. We wanted to make sure that this is coordinated, and one of the things I think we can see from that is our kindergarten enrollment and our high school enrollment. We had two successful kindergarten enrollment fairs, and our applications are up 22% from last year. And our high school enrollment, our applications are up 15%. So that coordinated effort really does make a difference. And again, I thank you to Tony and his team, and to the enrollment team as well, for putting in the effort and the customer service needed for this type of improvement.
Thank you so much. It absolutely is a team effort with student services, with our communications and marketing, and really across the organization in so many ways. So what we'll tell you a little bit about beyond those numbers is some of the things that are already in place, right? And if you see the title of the presentation, we're talking about building, right? We're not 100% there yet. We'll always be in continuous improvement. You're going to see at a high level some things we've already been able to do together that we think are driving those results, and then a little bit about the future planning and where we want to be. So I want to stress that forward movement and continuous improvement. So when we look at strategies that help us get there, we talked about the brand new website, right, that launched at the end of the calendar year. That was actually something identified in the governor's operational audit, and we met the timeline to do that. But specific to enrollment, we're looking at conversion monitoring. And what that really means is looking at the actions people take on the website and whether they're headed in the right direction over time. So just as one example, as we're looking at the bottom line numbers like you saw for kindergarten enrollment or high school enrollment, we're able to use Google Analytics behind the scene of the website. And one point in time measurement we had in mid-February was we had 180% increase in people visiting the kindergarten enrollment page at the point in the process this year versus the same point last year, and a 62% in total landing page views. So one is measuring individual people, one is measuring individual views. But we're tracking those things, and when we talk about collaboration, we're serious about that. We meet regularly during and leading up to these enrollment periods, and we're looking at things, making sure that the numbers are headed in the right direction, and any place where they might not be, then we can make a course correction. And I'll just note one thing, when we look at those positive numbers, I think those are really encouraging. My experience in marketing tells me sometimes, that could suggest an increase in the bottom line number, right? But I want to be clear that that's not always what that suggests. Sometimes it is the effective coordinated work drives people to make decisions earlier. And obviously, we want to stabilize enrollment, grow enrollment as a district. And when we look at those numbers, it could be an indicator of that, but it could be an indicator of people making their decisions earlier. And frankly, either way, it is of benefit to the school district and to the families. The more families that choose schools during the designated periods, they have a better opportunity to be connected with the schools that they're selecting, and the schools have more time to engage with those families, build relationships, and have that really smooth onboarding. So there's just really benefit there in a lot of ways. So other things that we're doing right now already, digital, social, and traditional ads, including for non-MPS families. So we're able to use targeting methods to reach families of young children, right, so that we're not exclusively targeting students or families already in the system, or families of middle school age students in the community when we talk about high school enrollment. So that's a critical strategy. The superintendent mentioned earned media news coverage. That's something we really leaned into, a lot of radio interviews and things like that in both English and Spanish, making sure that we were encouraging families to get out to the enrollment fairs, for example, and we'll continue to leverage that strategy because as the biggest district, we do find there's interest. People want to understand the process. The Neighborhood News Service, a couple of times now, has published really detailed outlines of how our enrollment processes work. It's information people want to know, and when we talk about getting the word out, that is an important lever for us to be pulling. The next one I have here is video production and promotion. So we all know the large number of schools that we're supporting and serving, and a long-term vision, we'll talk more about long-term vision in a moment, but especially at the high school level, is really for every high school to have its own promotional video. At the high school level, every high school is offering a lot of really unique programs when it's career and technical ed, athletics, AP, IB. So we want to lean into that. With 100 schools that offer kindergarten, it's a little bit more challenging to build 100 customized videos. And in some ways, we don't want to be competing against ourselves in putting some of those promotions out there. So the approach that we took this year was building videos in groups. So we created videos promoting traditional or neighborhood schools, leaning into the work of our literacy plan and what that means for students, and making sure that we're positioning ourselves so that everyone will read. But we also did one for arts specialty schools, one for language immersion specialty schools, one for Montessori specialty schools. We're building one for bilingual schools as well, and really saying, it is perhaps challenging to build 100 individual school promotional videos at scale, but if we can group schools together, and the beauty of these, as we've rolled them out, is we can put them out on social media, we can use them in paid ads, and we can have them live for a longer term on school websites. We know videos tend to perform pretty well on the web. We can put those and have an engaging opportunity for families right there in the website. Last couple of things I'll mention, and we will show a bit of a sample of one of those videos for our arts specialty schools, but direct messaging and list-based marketing. So this is especially relevant when we talk about our high school enrollment. Again, we do market to non-MPS families of 8th graders. However, at the same time, we know our 8th grade families, and we want to really lean into and be intentional about that. How can we make sure that we're connecting ads with the families who are already here and using that as a lever to encourage families to choose high schools, because we already have their contact information We don't have to do as much, general community marketing as we may need to do around kindergarten because we have that relationship already. And the last one is just community engagement and trust building, right? We were just talking about the amazing work of Milwaukee Recreation. We were talking about work to build and strengthen partnerships. Those kinds of things matter when it comes to enrollment marketing. Just work as a district to rebuild and restore trust and just be out there with communication, letting people know what we're doing, that plays a role as well, and just being visible in the community. I think, as an MPS parent myself, that can reaffirm people's belief that they're making the right choice, or as they're considering choices, that is the right choice to make. So you just see some quick samples of billboards around kindergarten fairs. Those are just examples. And then we just have a short piece of an arts specialty video that we should be able to play for you briefly.
In Milwaukee Public Schools, art specialty schools, creativity is at the heart of every day. From the first day of kindergarten, your child will explore music, art, dance, and theater in a nurturing, diverse environment that celebrates each child's imagination. Picture them painting their first masterpiece, moving to the rhythm in dance class, or shining on stage, all while building confidence and new friendships. Our schools partner with Milwaukee's cultural treasures to bring learning to life. From the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra to art museums, these partnerships mean kindergartners enjoy special performances, artist workshops, and field trips that spark their creativity. In this caring community, children are free to express themselves and discover what makes them unique. Give your little ones a vibrant start to their education and a lifelong love of the arts. Enroll now at mpsmke.com/enroll today.
So just one example, and again, we are able, once the enrollment period is now over, that we can adjust those endings to just kind of talk about enrollment in perpetuity. And we even, in our regular conversations with the, in partnership with Student Services, we've talked about, right, these two primary enrollment periods, kindergarten and high school, have ended, and using the opportunity as the application reopens and is available for schools, select schools that have available seats, touting that success. Kindergarten applications up 22%, high school applications up 15%, opportunities still available in select schools. And building on that success and then creating marketing assets like these videos that aren't only relevant and available during the key enrollment period. So that's a little bit of what we're doing in the short term. In the long term, what Brian and I have talked about in terms of building out this comprehensive enrollment marketing plan for the district. Really, what is it that we can do for every school, right? In the current state, a lot of times we're able to provide support when principals ask, and principals might ask because they've been here a while and they know what's available. How can we think about what every school needs and can get, and start there? So that's kind of almost a philosophical approach to it. So you might have seen, in addition to the district website, we've been redoing all the school websites. Huge credit to our team for their tireless work on that. So we'll be moving all school websites to that new format. And just looking at, again, it doesn't also, when we talk about something that we can give every school, it doesn't have to be uniform, right? So when we talk about art specialty or traditional neighborhood, similarly, we're looking at, as we make some investments in some schools in the heart of the North Side, how can we promote that to the community in a really intentional way that also kind of goes to that community trust building. The second thing I have on here is just experience-based marketing. Just the reality is that experiences change mindsets, and we have to think about that and how that applies to our work. just one small thing that came up, and I know the superintendent has talked about some great things that Boston Public Schools has done with its kindergarten, but just simple ideas like someone on our team had a great idea to bring more experiences into the kindergarten enrollment fairs this year. So there was a technology station, kind of a model classroom station, an art station, a Montessori station, things like a reading station, just that when you come to these events that it's not just a wall of tables, which is a wonderful thing and an opportunity to talk with people, but that they can also see something and experience it for themselves. So just being mindful of opportunities where we can create experiences. The next one is hospital partnerships and early childhood, and working with Brian's team and their partnership work on looking at our health system partners and how we can build relationships with new parents. The bottom line here is really, we don't want to only be starting our relationship with students when they enter kindergarten or families when they have a kindergartner, especially in a highly choice-driven environment that we are in Milwaukee, including within our own district, right? A new parent coming in and saying, here are 100 elementary school options can feel overwhelming. How do we start that relationship earlier, help explain what those options are? And so really starting, frankly, as soon as birth, building those relationships, and we've just had some initial conversations, about working with early childhood, REC, other partners on an early childhood newsletter, parenting tips, milestones to watch for, taking advantage of the awesome programs that Milwaukee REC offers in terms of, infant aquatics, toddler gymnastics, like creating a real value add and opportunities and encouragement for families to want this information, and then also have the added bonus of, if we do something simple like, without asking for too much personal information, looking for a birth month and year, could we give them a notification, your child is eligible for K-3 this year, your child is eligible for K-4 this year, and get them the process ahead of it so that, yes, they're going to see it in ads, yes, they're going to see it on the news, we're going to talk about it in every which way possible, but if we can build those relationships early, families know it's coming and know what to expect. The last two things, elementary to middle to high school transition marketing. We know some of our middle and high schools have really strong recruitment, and we want to look at what those best practices are and really replicate that around the district so that every, let's say, 4th and 5th grader in a K-5 is touring middle schools. Every 7th and 8th grader in a K-8 or middle school is touring high schools. And again, it's not just like high school enrollment is next month, like we've got to build that, earlier. Again, I'm talking 4th grade could be earlier, 7th grade it could be earlier. And again, it's not that no one hasn't thought of this before, they have. And some of our schools do this really, really well. And just like creating more uniform or need-based support for all of our schools when it comes to marketing, similar here, that if we've got a new school leader who's navigating so many things, including this, need to recruit students, how can we support them rather than waiting for them to kind of devise their own recruitment plan? The last thing is year-round campaign perception and measurement. So one of the things, again, that, and Brian articulates this probably better than I can, but that it really, everything should be planned, right? We know high school enrollment is coming, we know kindergarten enrollment is coming, and beyond that, those aren't the only times that people enroll. And so how can we recognize that and create kind of more year-round awareness? And the other thing is perception measurement, right? So research is a good part of any marketing plan. We have some pieces of the puzzle as a district about some information about why families choose certain schools, what they're looking for. As we build the comprehensive plan, we need that to be incredibly robust. Why are families choosing schools? Why are they not choosing schools? And gather that information, and then that can also help us measure performance over time. So a metric I've used in the past is Net Promoter Score, which is a fancy way of saying, in answer to the question, how likely are you to recommend Milwaukee Public Schools to a friend, neighbor, coworker who's looking to enroll their child? And can we see that performance change over time? Those are the kinds of things like we need the baseline, and we need the deep research on how parents make their decisions, because especially in the short term, where there's something that is of high interest to families and something where we have some real strength to tout, you just connect those right away. And you can say, we know people care about this, here's what we can offer. So with that, we will take any questions or comments that you have, and I just want to again extend my thanks and gratitude certainly to our communications and marketing team for continuing to do great work, Brian's team and the Department of Student Services, because this truly is a collaboration.
Thank you, guys. Madam Secretary, do we have any speaker slips on this item?
We do not.
Okay. Do any of the committee members, Director Fines, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how important this work is, given the unfortunate amount of charter and voucher schools that have been, in the game longer than us in a lot of ways, and have gotten a head start, I think. And it's great to see that we're taking this very seriously. Secondly, we know there's a baby bust going on, a very serious one happening, particularly in Milwaukee. And people are not only having less children, they're leaving the city when their children come of age to send them to schools. So we have to do this in an existential sense. If we don't, we will have to close lots and lots and lots of schools, and that's extremely unfortunate given what we have to offer. And looking to the last point, I think it was your fifth point, teachers are really good ambassadors for this kind of work. I mean, think about my neighborhood. People know the teachers in the buildings, like, at Gensland School or at Escuela Fraternity or wherever else. And those type of plans, or that type of outreach where the teachers and the administrators and staff are going door to door, I mean, that makes a huge difference. That kind of contact works in my mind.
Administration?
Director Ferguson, Chair Fines, if I may, one thing that was up there that I didn't address verbally that goes directly to the director's point, and I want to emphasize, is Brian's team leads the enrollment canvassing work, and we've had conversations specifically and recently with the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association about working in partnership, and we have another meeting on the calendar to get that work moving and agree that that is of value and worth continuing.
Director Pons, any follow-up? Okay, any other committee members? Director Simpson?
I just want to thank the superintendent for recognizing this as a need in our district and making sure it was a priority. We've never had this type of coordinated effort before, and this is just such a fabulous partnership to see coming forward to us. Thank you for all the work on this, and just really how strategic you're being about targeting groups and, communities and getting the message out in a variety of ways is important. And I agree that touring or visiting schools is really powerful for our fourth graders, our fifth graders, because I can tell you my third grade granddaughter and her best friend are already very committed to their middle school. Because of the excitement that the fourth and fifth graders have brought back. We toured that school, and they just talk all about it. So, yeah, so very powerful.
Okay. Administration, would you like to respond to Director Simpson?
Just that we certainly, Director Seamson, Chair Ferguson, I think that's a great example, right? Think about the enthusiasm traveling from the fourth and fifth graders down into the earlier grades. It's exactly why we need to do the work.
Chair Ferguson, Director Simpson, I just want to say that you have two superstars here working together. And they were both MPS parents. They're both lifelong MPS employees, and they both really love Milwaukee. I don't think you can have a better pair working on enrollment than these two. And I'm just super proud of the work that they're doing, and they're continuing to ask questions when they go out to the community and ask questions of others, staff, teachers. They're working really closely with the MTA as well. And so just excited to see what is on the horizon for some of our enrollment marketing that we're going to be doing. Get ready for kindergarten roundup.
Director Vanoy, and then I'll come to you.
Hello, I wanted to thank you. I've heard a couple things tonight that made me really happy, and those were, you talked about targeting specialty schools and neighborhood schools, not either or, which I really appreciate because it was always like either or, us or them. And the fact that when you were talking about web pages, you're talking about individual schools as individual schools. It's not an all or nothing. And I truly appreciate that. I think families like having choice, and I think they like having the ability to find what fits for them. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Administration?
Director Ferguson, Director Vanoy, thank you for those comments. You know, one of the other things that I don't think that Mr. Taylor went into very much is the way that they're creatively using social media too and video. And so the students are actually getting engaged as well with some of the content that they're putting out. So it's exciting, and they'll see me on some of the TikTok, and I'll come into the school visiting, and they'll be like, "Oh, superintendent." I swear I never knew who my superintendent was when I was in school. And so the way that they're using social media in such a very creative way, whether you're dancing or you're whispering, you know, they're getting the attention of the public. Thank you.
All right, Director Reza?
Just a quick comment. I just want to thank the teachers, the principals, even parents and the parent coordinators that came to the kindergarten enrollment. They did such an amazing job trying to get the attention of parents to enroll into their schools, giving them experiences, you know, of why you should join MPS. So I really want to give them a heads up and thank you for that.
Thank you. Were you about to respond to that?
Chair Ferguson, Director Riza, one of the things we've been talking about a lot is empowering our schools to be their marketers, right? And making those touch points, right, at the kindergarten fair. If you talk to a parent, what can we do to touch that parent again? Get that number, get that email, call them. I mean, this is an old phrase, but don't let them off the hook, right? Let's get them, right? Let's get them into that school, give them a tour. I mean, we're happy to invite them to a rec game or to a basketball game or whatever it takes. That's the thing. We can't do this alone, right? Like Tony and his team are small, our groups are small, but what Tony has been doing is to empower our schools, giving them that knowledge of how to recruit and retain and marketing. So I think that's one of the things that you saw is that aggressiveness. The superintendent just shot me a message. We want all the kids. Let's be aggressive, right? Others are aggressive. Let us be aggressive with it as well, right? And that's one of the things that I think Tony and his team have instilled in a lot of our schools, and we'll keep building on that.
Matt Chaser, Accountability and Efficiency.
Thank you, Chair Ferguson. Matt Jason, OAE. One of the things that we learned or was confirmed in the long-range facilities master planning was the dichotomy we have in between schools that are over capacity, over enrolled, and some that are under capacity, under enrolled. To what degree, if any, are the strategies for enrollment sensitive to that? Is there any type of encouragement or guidance that we're offering to families in terms of enrolling with respect to that phenomena that we're seeing in our facilities usage?
Administration?
Mr. Chasen, Chair Ferguson, members of the committee, Tony Talia via Communications. It's a great question and a timely one. We've just, you know, even when we look at our work with MTEA and canvassing, looking at need, right? And I just worked with my team as we, you know, continue to move the needle on website redesigns. One thing I looked at as we sat down and said, what schools still don't have a website on the new version? I looked at enrollment trends. I looked at utilization, because if we're going to, right, a website is one of the, if not the most important marketing tools. I think that's a general rule. I think in K-12, It's maybe a little more complex than that, but it's still a critical tool no matter what. And having families looking at schools, especially the ones that we know have trended downward, seeing robust, beautiful pictures of engaged students, up-to-date information, and just a clean look is a piece of the puzzle. So we are looking at that kind of data when we look at where we can, focus efforts.
Chair Ferguson and Mr. Chason, as you know, we just engaged with Formative on projection enrollment. It's the first time in the district we've ever done a real analysis around projected enrollments, and we're using this now. This was the first time that we did it, and now we'll have the technology to be able to do it every year from now on. And the information that we get will get better and better and better because we'll have trend analyses that we'll be able to have rather than just what we have from the cohort analyses and the census work that we have. We're going to interject choice and parent surveys into that so that we can better understand where parents are choosing schools. We also have engaged with Formative to help us with class size management this fall. It's the first time also that the district will be looking at class size management as an enrollment strategy. So, and monitoring our enrollment so that we don't over-enroll in the southern part of the city and under-enroll in the northern part of the city, and have that matched with Formative, who's also doing our transportation study. So we've embedded this organization that does data analytics, and they're helping us with our enrollment and our class size and our transportation, all which matter together so that we can have a better picture of the equity across our programs and better balance our schools in terms of options that parents get. This is also going to inform where parents are choosing, which then will help us choose and replace programs. So for instance, we know that there are very few bilingual programs in the northern part of the city. We may need a bilingual program to open in the northern part of the city. We have German immersion up there, but that's an immersion program separate and different from a bilingual program. So, as we learn where patterns are, where Montessori is within the city, where we have patterns of arts programming. And if you have high-quality programs in every part of the city, you will actually save on transportation costs, and you can take those savings from transportation and put them right back into the programs and into new schools. So we're going to compete.
Yeah. Matt, do you have any follow-up? I'll just say that I really love to hear that that we have a superintendent who is competitive. I live in District 4, which is a hotbed for choice and charter. Every summer, I almost hate to be home during the day because I'm getting door knocks of them coming to the door. It's almost like the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're always there. They're knocking, talking about their program, but also talking about what MPS is not doing right, how we're not serving the community well, and all those types of things. So I think we do need a bulldog in the fight that's willing to go and get in the ring, go out there door to door, and knock and reintroduce Milwaukee Public Schools to our community and to our parents. Because a lot of times, if they don't see that personal connection, then they feel the narrative is true. And the fact is, we just got through talking about Milwaukee Rec and all the amazing things that Rec has done for the city as a whole. Those are things that parents need to know. They need to know what opportunities are available, even some of the other things that we offer outside of Rec. I think that's so valuable, and it's encouraging to hear you say, we're going to compete. We want all the kids. If there's a birth shortage, which we know there is, that means we have to be that much more competitive, because the reality is for every kid that leaves the district or doesn't come to the district, there's a very real effect that it has. And I think one of my colleagues mentioned an existential threat If we were to do a SWOT analysis, that would be one thing that's front and center there. We have to stop the bleed. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask, is there any data from over the past years, maybe the recent 5 years, how many students and families have we lost? And how do we counter that with a very aggressive approach to recruiting more students and families to the district?
Director Ferguson, we do have that data, and we
Yeah.
can share it with you. I think the state also collects that data, so they look at vouchers and charters and that sort of thing. You just look at enrollments. And so we can definitely get you that of the students who are going in and out of the system. So happy to present some of that data in the future. Ms. Director Simpson, I just forgot my thought. But it was about your area. Oh, we are going to, in District 4, as you know, the board just decided to invest heavily in District 4 in 4 schools. So we will be showing up in force and in your area, letting people know, and they'll be seeing big signs. They'll be seeing the construction going on. A lot of that's going on inside, so they may not see as much, but some of that's on the outside beautification and playgrounds as well. So very exciting, and we'll be presenting some of those designs to you once we get the school sign-off over the next month or 2.
Any follow-up?
Yeah, I look forward to as the representative for District 4. I want every kid in District 4 in a District 4 school. That's my heart's desire. But in Milwaukee Public Schools, that's my next desire. If I can't get them into a District 4 school, at least in Milwaukee Public Schools. So I avail myself to, as you know, Dr. Caselius, when you were out there knocking on doors saying, bring them kids back, I was right there knocking on them with you, and I look forward to doing it again. It was very fun, and it was some good exercise, too. I got my steps in, and I don't always get my steps in, so that was good.
And Chair Ferguson, I thought about, and Director Simpson, you know, birth rates might be going down, but there's still 60,000 students that don't choose Milwaukee Public Schools. And some of those students are families. So the note I sent to Brian was, let's start with our families who send some of their kids to us and send some of their kids to other schools. Let's have them send all of their kids to us. And so I think it's just that kind of creative thinking of, you know, putting all of our minds together on those different types of strategies, whether it's canvassing, whether it's knocking on doors, whether it's marketing or websites or fairs or information sharing, or just getting them an experience at community rec programs. All of that will matter.
Yeah. Yes. One last thing. So the other thing that I wanted to mention too, we just did the Faith Leaders Breakfast. So as a big person on the faith scene in Milwaukee, there's a reason that every single election in this city, they go to churches. The senator does, the presidents do when they're running. The U.S. representatives, they go to churches and places of worship for a reason. That's a low-hanging fruit for us. I think one of our next steps when it comes to developing a strategy around our faith-based partners is how do we leverage that, making sure that in those churches that we're making the case that Milwaukee Public Schools, yes, every family should have a choice, but making the case that Milwaukee Public Schools is the best choice. And with that, I rest my case. Any other questions or comments regarding this item? And seeing none, I will go to Madam Secretary. What is the next item on our agenda?
Mr. Chair, that was the last item on this meeting's agenda.
Okay. As a reminder, a meeting of the Committee on Student Achievement and School Innovation will begin shortly, And seeing there be no further business before this committee, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.